Stop assuming your shotgun is just a close-range tool for clearing rooms or dusting clay pigeons. That mindset is exactly why you are going home empty-handed while others are filling their tags. Here's the hard truth. The lines are blurring. We're looking at the 2026 lineup fresh from the floor, and these are not the smooth bores you grew up with. We're talking about Rifled Slug Guns, dedicated platforms designed to send a Sabot Slug downrange with the kind of precision that makes rifle shooters nervous. I'm talking 150 yards, lethal accuracy, and stopping power that drops big game in its tracks. In this briefing, I'm breaking down the top 5 slug guns that are basically sniper rifles in disguise. And listen, you're going to want to stick around because the hardware at the #1 spot is going to challenge everything you think you know about ballistics. Kicking off our list at rank 5 is the Winchester SX4 cantilever buck. If you value raw speed above all else, this is your huckleberry. I saw a guy down in a Texas blind clear a sounder of hogs with one of these before the first casing hit the ground. It is widely known as the speed king of semi-automatics for a reason. Here is the mechanic's insight you need to understand. It runs on the new generation active valve system. This is not just a fancy marketing term. The system physically self-adjusts the internal gas pressure, bleeding off the excess gas when you're running heavy-hitting slug loads and sealing up tight to cycle lighter rounds. This means it runs cleaner and it cycles faster than you can pull the trigger. The barrel length comes in at a compact 22 inches, which makes it handy when you're dealing with tight brush or a cramped blind. Now, let's talk about the feel. Since it's a gas gun, the recoil is surprisingly polite. It does not kick like an angry mule, it's more of a dull thud against the shoulder. However, I have to point out a serious flaw. The trigger on this shotgun is far from match grade. Honestly, it feels a bit mushy, like dragging a plastic shovel over gravel. It's great for blasting fast, but it makes precision work harder than it needs to be. I do appreciate the ergonomics though, specifically the oversized controls. If you're wearing thick winter gloves in the freezing cold, you can still operate the charging handle without fumbling. This is a solid rig for volume shooting, but if you need to thread a needle at 200 yards, you need to see the bolt-action beast waiting at #1. Stepping up the game to #4 is the Retay Gordion Slug. I know the fanboys will hate this, but this platform is embarrassing some of the legacy brands that cost twice as much. Stop buying overpriced logos just because your grandfather did, and look at the actual engineering here. Here is the mechanic's insight that separates this from the pack. Most mass-produced shotgun barrels are hammer-forged, which stresses the steel structure and can cause subtle warping as the barrel heats up during rapid fire. Retay uses a process called deep bore drilling. They take a single solid bar of premium steel and drill it straight out, dead center, from end to end. This creates a barrel that is molecularly relaxed and perfectly straight, which is critical when you are slinging a heavy lead slug at a moving target. They also integrated the Inertia Plus bolt system, which uses a torsion spring to force the rotating bolt head to lock into battery. This completely eliminates the infamous inertia click, where the bolt bounces back slightly and fails to fire when you pull the trigger. However, I have to be honest about the sensory experience. Because this is a lightweight inertia gun, it does not absorb recoil like the gas gun we just looked at. When you send a Magnum slug downrange, the kick is sharp and abrupt. It snaps back against your shoulder like a wet towel,
and if your form is sloppy, it is going to leave a mark. Also, the factory recoil pad is stiff as a brick. You are going to want to replace that immediately if you plan on shooting all day. It is a technological marvel, but it is not a gentle ride. Entering the elite tier at number 3, we have the Browning Silver Rifled Deer. This is the definition of a workhorse. If you hunt in deep swamps where the humidity is 100%, or in the freezing rain where other actions freeze shut, this is the tool you want. Here is the deal. They coated this thing in a new 2026 matte finish that basically laughs at rust. But the real mechanics insight here is the semi-humpback receiver design. Most modern receivers slope down immediately, but this one stays square at the back. Why does that matter? It physically extends your sight radius, creating a distinct flat plane that guides your eye naturally to the target. It makes target acquisition almost automatic. The barrel is what they call thick-walled. It is overbuilt to contain the massive chamber pressure of modern hypervelocity slugs. When you pull the trigger, the action cycles with a heavy mechanical clunk that feels like a bank vault locking shut. The recoil is there, but it is not violent. It feels more like a firm shove from a heavy linebacker than a sharp punch. However, I have a bone to pick with the weight distribution. This rig is front heavy. After hiking 5 miles through the timber, that thick barrel starts to feel like you are carrying a lead pipe. It is not a gun for the weak. This is a serious piece of hardware, but if you want something that delivers surgical precision without the bulk, just wait until you see the monster sitting at number 1. That thing is going to change the way you look at shotguns forever. Closer to the crown at number 2, we have the Browning Maxus II Rifled Deer. If your shoulder is tired of getting beaten up by heavy 3-inch magnums, this is the answer. This platform is widely recognized as the softest shooting semi-automatic in its class. Here is the deal. It utilizes the power drive gas system. Here is the mechanics insight. This system uses larger exhaust ports and a specialized integrated valve design that dumps excess gases faster than standard systems when high-pressure loads are detected. It effectively flattens the recoil curve. When you pull the trigger on a heavy slug, instead of a sharp punch, it feels like a slow, steady push. It is incredibly gentle. You could shoot this thing all day without bruising. They also added the Soft Flex stock cheek pad. This creates a rubberized barrier between your face and the comb, preventing that stinging vibration that usually rattles your teeth during rapid fire. Visually, it is wrapped in the mossy oak bottomland pattern, which is disappearing off shelves in 2026. But here's the truth regarding the flaw. Because it is a complex gas system, it runs dirty. Carbon builds up on that piston fast. If you're the type of guy who hates cleaning his guns after every range trip, this mechanism will eventually get sluggish. It requires maintenance to keep it singing. Also, the trigger reset is a bit long for my taste. You have to let the trigger out almost all the way before it clicks for the next shot. It's a small price to pay for this level of comfort, but it is annoying when you're trying to dump rounds quickly. We have arrived at the Alpha Predator, the undisputed king, sitting at number 1. This is the Savage 212 and 220 Harvester series. Let's be real for a second. This is not a shotgun. This is a high-precision sniper rifle that just happens to be chambered in 12 or 20 gauge. While everyone else is spraying and praying with semi-automatics, this platform is for the marksman who understands that one well-placed round is all you need.
Here is the mechanics insight that makes it superior. It uses a true bolt-action mechanism based on the legendary Model 110 rifle action. When you lock that bolt down, the lugs engage with the receiver with 100% steel-on-steel contact. There are no gas ports bleeding off pressure, and there are no moving parts vibrating the barrel while the bullet is still in the bore. Every ounce of expanding gas is used to send that projectile downrange with maximum velocity. The result is accuracy that is frankly terrifying. We are talking about touching holes at 100 yards and lethal terminal performance out to 200 yards. For 2026, they upgraded to the AccuFit V2 stock system. This allows you to adjust the length of pull and the comb height right on your workbench without needing a gunsmith. And the trigger? It uses the famous AccuTrigger. It breaks like a frozen icicle. There is zero creep, just a crisp snap that surprises you every time. Now, if I have to find a downside, it is the speed. Because it is a bolt action, you are the engine. If you miss your first shot, working that bolt for a follow-up takes time. But honestly, with this level of precision, you're not gonna miss.
So, here's the bottom line. If you need volume of fire because you're clearing brush, stick with the Winchester at number 5. If you want a machine that runs clean and rewards marksmanship, the Savage at number 1 is the only choice. But remember one thing, do not feed these beasts cheap ammo. These rifled barrels are designed exclusively for Sabot Slugs. If you try to run birdshot or standard rifled slugs through them, you're going to ruin the rifling and destroy your accuracy. Spend the money on premium ammo. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think a bolt-action shotgun can actually replace a deer rifle in the heavy timber? Sound off in the comments and let me know which rig you trust your season with. Train hard, stay safe, and I will see you downrange.